All right. We're ready to go. I'm just getting used to this new program. It's so much nicer because I can fill in all the stuff and I don't have to go back and do it. It just lets me do it right at the beginning.
Oh, cool. I'm so glad to have you look after that for me because I really don't know anything about streaming on YouTube or computer programs. So it's great to have somebody like that.
I don't either. I just was like, okay, well, start reading, start playing. I'm going to jack things up a couple times, but I'm going to give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, this modern age, isn't it great that we can just look something up on the internet and then it's like you're pretty much a genius 5 minutes in? I mean, just think about that for a second. Let's think about all of the things we could do today in 2018 that even like, in 95, it would be like it would take 10 years to learn how to do.
Oh, I know. It's the school of YouTube. Because any problem I have, I just go YouTube it and see if it's too much for me or not, and if it's reasonable, there we go.
Oh yeah, and it's great. Like, it's great to see stuff that you already know how to do, but you just want to look at it on YouTube and see, like, okay, first of all, has it changed since I studied it last? And also, is this guy a total idiot? Because sometimes you find somebody that, they think they know what they're doing and they're putting it on YouTube and it's like, oh my gosh, really?
Exactly right. Yep, it's great though. I am so thankful. It's such a great time to be alive.
Oh, it totally is. Oh my gosh. So that rolls right into what I wanted to discuss today. So yeah, thanks, Dave. I mean, I'm going to probably ask you a few questions, so I hope you're comfortable talking on air. But yeah, first of all, I'm going to get it out of the way. I posted the GIN Level 4 test. No answers, but there's the test. Okay, so this is going to be something that I encourage you to download and save somewhere offline, and then you can look at it over and over and over again. Okay, but for intents and purposes of level 2, I'm going to do questions 141 to 280, and we're going to cover those questions soon. I'm not sure when, if it's going to be Tuesday or what, but yeah, we're going to do those questions. So I actually think I'm going to post the answers soon enough as well, but you can do that test on your own. If you want to do the whole test, go right ahead. If you want to do questions 1 to 140, you go right ahead. Those are level 1, or what I would consider level 1 questions. But for the intents of level 2, we will cover on this program questions 141 to 280. Okay, so as for today, we were just discussing beforehand fallibility of leaders, and people are people. They make mistakes, and that doesn't make them bad people, but at the same time, we can't have this like delusional sense that President Trump is the God Emperor and all this crap. I think that's ridiculous. What were you saying about that, Truman, before I interrupted you?
Well, I was just saying that the whole Q movement type stuff has created this false perception that this man and his administration is infallible. Now, don't get me wrong. I voted for Trump. I'm glad he's in there. He's doing a lot of really good things. He's doing some things he thinks is right, but may not be. We'll have to see. But you can go and look at any history. I mean, that's my thing. I love politics. I got 2 master's degrees in it. And even the greatest presidents that we look up to, Washington, Reagan, I mean, go down the line, and they all make mistakes. So when Trump makes a mistake, these people are going to be unhinged.
Yeah, and another thing that they do is they make excuses for him, like, oh, well, he didn't really screw up. He meant to do it this way, and this happened, and this happened. Like, look, I mean, he fucked up.
Yeah, I meant to do that, like Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, or what was that other guy's name? Urkel, Steve Urkel. Did I do that?
That's right, Urkel.
I was just watching a bunch of stuff about Tupac and Biggie, and I was reminiscing about the '90s. You know, because I mean, like, I graduated in the '90s, and I was just entering adulthood. You know, in the '90s, and that whole era was like, yeah, I remember that song, and I remember those stupid sweaters that we wore, like, you know, those multicolored sweaters, and it was just such a crazy time. But yeah, thinking about it now, like, wow, the internet was just starting when I graduated from high school. So it was just a whole different time.
It's such a fixture in life. It's hard to imagine without it.
Yeah, like, how did we actually do things? It was crazy. And I mean, like, I went on tour in the US from 98 to 2000. And wow, like, there was no, you didn't have a cell phone. I mean, regular people didn't have a cell phone. So, I mean, I was just this young kid, and I was touring around. And if we had to go somewhere, you had to stop at 7-Eleven and ask for directions. And it was really bad directions. And yet it was like, you just did it.
My wife and I, after we got married, we went on a trip the following summer, and it was cross country, Baltimore to LA, San Diego area, and then all the way up to Seattle and back, and stopped at my uncle's in Vegas. And it was all done with a Rand McNally map. And so we got lost a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. We had that Rand McNally map from Walmart that we had, and it was great. I mean, I loved it. And the running joke was, no matter where you are with Camfell, because that was the company we worked with, no matter where you are with Camfell, you're in the ghetto. Because it was true. I mean, as soon as we got off the freeway, we ended up lost in the ghetto, no matter where we were.
Yeah, but you know, people are going to miss out on some of the mistakes we made were absolutely incredible. We ended up in the middle of a lemon grove when they were in peak season, and that was beautiful. You'd never see that from the highway. I mean, there'd be a bunch of times like that.
Oh yeah, it's great. And like in Ohio, it's called the Longaberger plant. Okay, so they make Longaberger baskets in this place, and it is a building that looks like a giant picnic basket. I'm not kidding. And we were like, we're just driving through the country in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, my friend was like, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, that looks like a giant picnic basket. And we were like, okay, we got to check this out. We don't know what it is, but we're going there, and we're going to look and see what it is. And it was fascinating. And they had all kinds of cool, like tchotchke kind of things, like, a basket that looked like a sleigh. And then they had like, a Santa Claus in there. And then they had like little reindeer and stuff. And you could just put it on your shelf and it would look cool, right? But then they also had actual functioning baskets that just looked so nice, and they were really good quality, so they would last a long time. Then they had this place where you could make your own basket, and it like showed you how to do it, and it was really neat.
I've driven past that as well.
Yeah, there's so many amazing things to see. I mean, yeah. So getting lost is fun. Getting lost is fun. But, anyway, back to the fallibility of leaders and people who are great. I think, when you look back at, like, Patton, George S. Patton, I think he slapped one of his men or something. It was, like, just a minor thing. It wasn't like he assaulted the guy. The guy wasn't hurt in any way. It was just like a slap, like he was disciplining him or telling him to man up or something, and he slapped this guy. Okay, Well, he was disciplined really, really harshly for this. And, you know, there are all kinds of commentaries about this over the years. And at the end of the day, you know, leaders, even great leaders, will oftentimes lose their temper. They'll do stupid things. They'll say stupid things. Or they'll just make a flat out mistake. And it's like, you know, why did he do that? And you just don't know. But at the end of the day, you're going to be that way if you decide to step up to the plate. And you got to be prepared for that. Like, if you follow this training, you are going to be one of the greatest human beings that ever lived. I'm not saying that to, like, you know, puff you up or anything. I'm just saying, if you follow this training, in the end, you will end up like an Elon Musk or George S. Patton or George Washington, whatever, because you're going to go all the way to accomplishing all of your dreams, and your dreams are going to get more and more altruistic, and your dreams are going to, I mean, when they get realized, they're going to benefit humanity more and more. It's going to get less selfish and more altruistic. At least that's the goal. You are going to become a better person, but you're still going to make mistakes, okay? You're going to be this person that's great, but I just want to make sure you understand, great people, people that change history, they're still just regular people. And we can't look at stars as being, you know, these infallible creatures. I mean, I remember Michael Jackson saying in disbelief that one of his fans actually asked him if he ever used the bathroom. And he was like, yeah, like, duh. But that's kind of the way things are. A lot of times we make these people into idols, and they don't deserve to be worshipped. People might make you into an idol. And it's important to understand that you're not, number one, but also there's always going to be haters out there too. And I was reading a tweet by Ice-T today, and it was so awesome. He was like, you know, just to let you in on a secret, no matter how much you think you've made it, there's always going to be people out there talking shit about you. And don't listen to the shit talkers. Just do your own thing. Do what you think is right. And forget about the haters. And I was like, wow, that's so awesome. That's so profound, because it's true. I mean, Ice-T, he's 60 or something. I mean, he's done it. He's been there, done it, and he's succeeded. And yet there's still people like bitching him out on Twitter. And I keep wondering, like, what are you thinking? You're just this nobody, and you're talking Ice-T, and you could be asking him, you know, how did you do it? What did you say to yourself? What did you visualize when you were just starting out? But no, they don't ask him that. They just like shit talk him on Twitter. Like, we have access nowadays to the stars. We can literally like talk to the President of the United States on Twitter, and we could talk to these stars that have, against all odds, done amazing things. I mean, ask them a question that relates to your dream. What do you think you could accomplish? How did you accomplish it? You know, just ask them something that's mind-blowing. Don't bitch them out about their political beliefs, or, you know, just insult them. But that's the way Twitter is, I think. Twitter's designed to just be this cesspool. But yeah, what are your thoughts on leaders teaching us things? Like, Truman, what do you think?
Well, it's very important to try to learn as much as you can from people who have experience and things like that. But you have to understand their humanity and take it with Yeah, you kind have to take it in perspective too of them individually, the times they've lived in, and things like that as well.
Yeah, I mean the time thing is a big factor too, because people go, "Oh, look at this guy! You know, he did this and this and this." And it's like, yeah, but it was 150 years ago. I mean, that was the way people were back then. And yeah, it's important to understand that too when you're reading the Bible. I mean, think about how long ago that was, and the attitudes that people had back then. It's you're gonna have mistakes being made, or like social justice just it wasn't a thing back then. But also, like, let's look at Abraham Hicks, right? Because Abraham Hicks is like this fictional character, or this maybe not fictional, but a channeled entity by Esther Hicks. Okay, and what do you think about the death of Jerry Hicks? Or are you familiar with that, Truman?
Is that the people that David Wilcox stayed with, or is that a different people?
I don't know if he stayed with them. I know he stayed with this woman that channeled. Oh, it was that New Age thing. What was the name of that?
Ra and the Law of One.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. He stayed with those people. I'm not sure if he stayed with the Hicks.
Okay, it's just escaping me at the moment. I really don't remember much about the Hicks.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I know, like, and I bitched out somebody online a few years ago because they did this whole thing where they said, "Oh, Abraham Hicks, that's a scam," or people will say, "Oh, The Secret is a scam," or this law of attraction, whatever it is, it's a total scam. Well, I'm sorry to say, but no, it's not a scam. But there are some programs that are obviously better than others. Just like if you get a piano teacher to teach you the piano, they're not going to teach you anything new, okay? But they're putting in their time and their effort to teach you how to read music and how to translate that into an instrument, the piano. And, I mean, there's teachers that are really good teachers. And then there's other people that they're good at playing the piano, but they don't know how to teach you to also be good at playing the piano. It's just they're kind of like a prodigy or a natural at it, but they don't know how to teach well. So there are people that are good teachers, and then there's people that are good doers and not so good at teaching. And it's important to understand that some people, they're not teaching you a scam, but they aren't really that good at teaching the material that isn't a scam. So when you look at the Hicks, okay, so Jerry Hicks, he passed away and he had cancer, right? So people were saying, "Oh, it's a scam. This Abraham Hicks guy that's channeled, all that material is bullshit." Well, okay, wait a minute. Do you really think that the law of attraction is going to make you immortal? Seriously? Realistically, could you still get cancer and die with using this material and knowing this material that I'm teaching you?
Okay, all right. Now I got the story back together. Gotcha. The name just escaped me.
Okay, good. So you're familiar. Because, yeah, Jerry, he did get cancer. And people were saying that it was all a scam. That this law of attraction stuff is just bullshit.
Well, he never claimed to have the cure for cancer.
Yeah, I mean, just to bring things into perspective, you are not immortal just because you try to use the law of attraction to live forever. It doesn't work that way. Okay, there's things that supersede even the law of attraction. Like Kevin Trudeau talks about how the law of attraction supersedes all other laws. I don't think actually that it does. Okay, I think all the laws work alongside each other. So the law of gravity continues to work, but if you have enough energy to overcome the law of gravity, then you're not going to be sucked back down to the earth. Okay, it's just a matter of physics. And with the same thing, if you're looking at the law of attraction is going to be like attracts like. So you're going to create with your brain this signal that is going to attract a similar feeling. Okay. And I've gone into length with this in the first lesson on this channel. Now, does that make you immortal if you use the law of attraction to become immortal? I don't think so. Maybe one day human beings will be immortal. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. But we have these certain agreements that we have, these understandings that we have. Okay, so we understand that time goes one direction. We understand that as you age, you are going to go through certain changes in your body. And we act accordingly. And if you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm old, you're probably going to, in your body, feel older. So you can eat right and you can exercise and you can do certain things to combat aging. But at some point, you're going to die. It's just the way it is. And maybe one day, well into the future, human beings will find a way where they can actually be immortal. But until that happens, you're using the law of attraction to bring things into your life that are completely reasonable, they're believable, they are within the realm of possibility. Okay? A man getting pregnant is not within the realm of possibility. You flying without an airplane is not within the realm of possibility. Okay? So I'm talking about reasonable stuff here when we're talking about the law of attraction. So when people say, oh, it's bullshit because Jerry Hicks, he died of cancer. Well, he had to die of something. I mean, if he had died of a car wreck, would that have made it not a scam? Like, what are you saying? Think about it. And also, I mean, let's look at Kevin Trudeau for a second. He was, in essence, the leader of GIN. Was Kevin Trudeau fallible? Obviously, he was. Can you still use this material and get a lot of benefit from it, even though Kevin Trudeau is fallible? And I'm really asking, what do you think?
Of course. Yes, you can glean any. I mean, most people hate Andrew Jackson. I'm just about finishing a book of his history, a biography about him. But he did some things wrong. But, you know, there's a tremendous amount that he did for the good. And same with Kevin. He's got a little whack job ideas out there, but the bulk of it, there is a lot of stuff to be picked out, used, that is of great benefit.
Yes, you said it in the best way possible. Thank you. And we need to get away from calling something a scam all the time when it's not. I mean, you know, if a Nigerian prince contacts you by email and then he wants to give you millions of dollars, it's probably a scam. Okay? Nobody's going to
Let me just throw this in real quick. Since you mentioned Nigerian scam, my wife's aunt got scammed by the Nigerian prince twice.
Oh my gosh. That's horrible.
$20,000 each time.
What?
Yeah, the first time wasn't enough.
I don't even know what to say about that. Wow. Yeah, see, okay, so that is obviously a scam. Nobody is going to get the money. Just to let you in on a secret. All right, no one is going to be given millions of dollars. It's not like the lottery where you have one winner that wins the big thing and that's it. No, I mean, nobody's winning on that one. If you look at, you know, like we were talking about Mormonism, if you're looking at Mormonism, that's a scam. I'm sorry for all the people listening that might be Mormon, but it's true. That's a scam. Nobody's going to win. They're taking your money. Okay. They want your tithe money. And that's basically the story there. So everybody's going to lose out. on those types of things. But when you're talking about gin and, you know, belonging to a club like gin, or if we ever create a club like that, you know, if you pay your dues or whatever, you get certain lessons, secret lessons, you know, that is not a scam, because if you apply yourself, you will succeed. So it's not like everybody loses. Okay. So I just want to explain that when you're looking at MLMs and things like that, if you apply yourself, you actually put in the time, you will succeed. And that's the difference between those types of things. Now, yeah, some MLMs are better than others, and some clubs are better than others. And unfortunately, what happened to gin happened. But I am so grateful for everything that I learned when I was in gin. And I am also a part of several other societies, and I learned something different from each one. I mean, from one of them, I learned the Merkaba and Akashic Records and how to do all of that stuff. So I look forward to teaching you guys more about that. But I mean, none of this is a scam. It's just how much are you going to apply yourself to this material that is being taught to you by a fallible human being. I'm going to make mistakes, and one day you will teach this as well, and you will make mistakes. That's okay. So I just want to point out to you, okay, you don't have to do this perfectly. So the lesson for today would be, I guess, above anything else, is just do something. Get going, get on that path, and just do it. It doesn't matter that you're not going to do it perfectly, or that you don't have all your ducks in a row, or, oh, I just want to lose 5 pounds first, and then I'll get going. No. Start now. And I included something from the Joe Rogan podcast, and it's great. I watched this, and I actually just watched it like an hour and a half ago or so. Wow, it's so great. It's really inspirational. And he talks about how with the internet now, you can actually start a business without, you know, going to the bank, getting a business loan, and then, you know, if the business fails, then you're totally in debt, and you're basically, your life is ruined because your business tanked. And, you know, now you owe the bank a whole bunch of money. You don't have to get a building. You don't have to look at all this real estate and try to find the best location. It's like, it's amazing the type of opportunities that are available to us now with the internet that were just never available to humankind before. So take advantage of that. This is a great time to be alive. And he talks about, like, you can make a website on Square Space or whatever it is, or like Wix or something, and just get a really easy website made up that looks quite professional in like an hour. And then, you know, it's like a free little store and blah, blah, blah. And you could do all of that without any problem. And then you can have your own business like within a day. And and he talks about like these people that they actually hate their lives. These people will, you know, commute for a couple hours every day, and then they have to go into this cubicle, and they work for a corporation that like doesn't even know their name really. And you've got to go to HR every once in a while and have this review of your file, and they don't even know personally how well you've been doing or how poorly you've been doing. They have to actually like look into it on your record, and they look at it on the computer printout, and they go, oh, okay, this is how this person has been doing. They don't even know. Like, they have to look it up. You know, so they don't even know you personally enough to know if you're a good worker. They have to do this whole computer review to see if you're a good worker. And then it's like, you know, fuck my life. Like, do I have to do this for another 30 years? I mean, when does it end? And these people are in debt as well. So you're literally working for people you don't want to work for, and doing what you don't want to do, hating your life every minute of the way. And then it's like you're in debt. You don't even get to enjoy, enjoy your life when you're not working. And he talks about that. And he says, it's because people have been beaten down so much that they just think that they can't do what they love to do. And they think that they're so tired at the end of the day, they don't even want to think about anything. They just want to veg out, and they'll eat like pizza and they'll drink Budweiser or like Coors or something, and they'll just sit in front of the TV and watch the football game, or they'll just watch some crappy TV, and then they go to bed, and they do it all over again the next day. And it's like, wow, if that's not hell, I don't know what is, right? And so, I mean, Joe Rogan just goes into it. He's like, look, pick something. Just find something that you love, that you're passionate about, that gets you up in the morning, and find it and do it. Like, make something out of it. And he talks about like his own podcast and how he thought he was in a good place. He had moved to Colorado. He'd gotten away from LA, and he was in the mountains, and he really liked it. And then all of a sudden his wife gets pregnant and had to move back to LA. And he was like, no, I don't want to be back here, and I used to live in LA, so I know exactly what he's talking about. I hated living in LA. It was like, it just never ends. It's all the same. It's all like the plants are all the same. There's no seasons. It's just one long summer.
And perpetual traffic.
And perpetual traffic, yeah. And I mean, we would drive somewhere and it would be a traffic jam on the freeway. And my buddy was like, there better be somebody's brains on the pavement. I'm not going to be sitting in traffic for 3 hours for nothing. So, I mean, I get it. I get the LA thing. But, yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan just thought, oh, no, like, screw me. But he did this podcast just for fun, and he started out, and there wasn't that many people. There was not a big audience, and it just grew and grew and grew, and now it is what it is. And he goes on tour. He does the comedy thing, and he makes boatloads of money, right? And he's having a great time. And he's a cool guy. Like, you could tell. He's just a fun, neat guy to talk to when you look at his podcast. And he doesn't really talk about anything spectacular. Like, he doesn't really do anything that much. He's got a little bit of knowledge on some things, like fighting and stuff, but that's it. Like, he's not an expert on nutrition. He's not an expert on fighting or anything like that. He knows a few things. He's just a regular guy. Just do it. Just be like Joe Rogan and pick something. And he was talking about some podcasts. There's a podcast where it's called Guys I've Screwed or Guys I've Fucked or something. And it's like a few girls talking about different guys that they've had relations with. And it's like, that podcast is very successful. And then he talks about another one where all they talk about is Richard Simmons and where did he go and where is he today? That's all they talk about. I mean, there's just these really obscure ideas that because people are passionate about them, they become this huge success. It starts small and it builds momentum, but eventually it's this huge thing. And use the techniques that I have taught you to build it bigger and faster using your feelings as a gauge. But in general, you just have to start and don't give up. Don't stop, right? Because you have to go through that graph. Remember the graph I showed you in the first lesson? Go through the graph because it's going to start out that you're at number 1. And then you go to number 2, right? And the end goal is 5. So you start at number 1, number 2, and then you go to 1.5, and then you go to, you know what I mean? So you're going to get closer and closer to 5. But if you're not at 5, then you're not there. You just keep going until you get to 5, and then it'll come into your life. And at that point, you can pick a new dream. But don't give up halfway there. That's the key, is keep getting up if you get knocked down, but don't give up till you get there.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add to that is I can't remember. Maybe it was Ford, but he was asked how he's so productive and getting all this done. And he said something to the effect of the average person spends 3 to 4 times the amount of time it actually takes to do something thinking about doing it. Whereas he doesn't think about doing it, he just does it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, brilliant. And that goes along with what we talked about last time. What was it? On Tuesday. We talked about fear and, well, not just fear, but what's holding you back. Why are you procrastinating? And it's true, like a lot of people, they're afraid of going to the dentist because it's going to hurt. Well, is it really going to hurt? Because they got really good drugs nowadays. Like they've got all kinds of different drugs to give you so it doesn't hurt. So is it really going to hurt? Or are you just not wanting to go? Like, are you afraid? What's going on? And, just asking yourself, just confronting that monster. Why am I procrastinating? And then you find out that it's something stupid, that if you just do it, it's over with. And then you're happy with yourself too, because I did this.
Exactly. And one of the best things about Joe is he calls people out on anything. No one gets away with anything on his show.
Yeah, sometimes he gets really goofy, and other times he's like, he's really compassionate, and he's just a regular guy. So everybody, hey, you're a normal person. Just be you, okay? If you have flaws or whatever, don't worry about it. Look at Donald Trump. Look at how many flaws Donald Trump has. He doesn't even let that stop him. Okay, he is, to be honest, he's a complete asshole. But he doesn't let that stop him. He just does it. He doesn't even care what people have to say about him. He's the greatest. He knows he's the greatest. Everybody knows he's the greatest, right?
Yeah. And one of his heroes, which led me to start that book on Jackson, is Andrew Jackson. And so I think the next thing he's going to do is take on the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, and another thing too is Trump has balls. He really does. I got to give him props. Like he'll say some things on Twitter. He does not give a. He doesn't. He does not give a flying. You know what? So you have to have that element to what you're doing. Is just don't give a crap what people say about you, because just like Ice-T said, okay, it doesn't matter what you do. Somebody's always going to talk shit about what you're doing. There's idiots out there. There's lots of them, and they're always going to have something to say. So don't worry about it. Just do it. Do what you think is right, and the chips will fall where they may. But in the end, you will succeed. You'll be way better off than if you didn't do anything to begin with.
Exactly. You have to be open to new horizons too. Like my sister, I encouraged her to start applying for jobs. She just graduated. I said, no, you can't just apply to Chicago. Apply to Florida. Apply to anywhere you think you might enjoy living. She got offered a job making a great amount of money in Florida, and she's going to move the end of the month.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Now, did you encourage her to do this because of what we've learned here, or is that just something you would normally encourage her to do anyway?
I would. The stuff I've learned helps me to remember that stuff, because by default, that's just the way I am. I mean, we've moved around a bunch. We go to wherever the opportunity is. That's why we're out in the middle of Wichita. Yeah, but for her, I was like, you need to do it too. You can't be afraid of what might happen. And she got the job offer, and she's like, do I take it? I was like, do you want to look back on the rest of your life and say, I wonder what would happen if I took that job in Florida?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One thing I gotta find, and I'm gonna post it, is the video where I can't even remember her name now, but she was on one of those talent shows, and Simon Cowell was on there, and she came out. She just looked like this frumpy old lady, and everybody was kind of like laughing at her and stuff, and then she starts singing. And it was like, wow. You know, it was like an angel had just entered the building. And it turned out that she had wanted to sing her whole life, but she just didn't think that she could ever do it. And it was like, what? Like, why wouldn't you sing? You have such a beautiful voice. And now she's singing for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, I need to find that clip because it's an amazing clip to watch. But yeah, if you have a dream, just go out and start. Even if you have no clue where to start. That's one thing is I didn't and how to do it. Because I mean, like as a pipe fitter, I'm not a computer person. I don't do things well on the computer. I know a tape measure really well, and I know pipe and how to weld and stuff, but I don't know anything about this new world, new adventure that we're on with the internet, but I make it work. And it's just something that'll happen for you regardless. Somebody will come along and they'll show you, or you'll Google it and they'll have some great video to show you how to do it. Whatever it takes, man, it'll work for you. You just got to start.
That's right. That's the hardest step. You don't worry about the how.
Yes, the how is irrelevant. Okay, well, with that, are there any comments, observations, questions, concerns?
Negative.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I think I'm going to post those level 4 answers up next, and I will do that right away. And then you can study the test questions. You can print those out if you want without the answers, and then you can like look at the answers on the computer to test yourself and make sure you're doing a good job. One of the reasons, I think I mentioned this on Tuesday, but one of the reasons that we're doing this as level 4 is that level 4 is like hours and hours of testing. And I don't want to overwhelm anybody, because I remember when I got to level 4, I was really excited because I had done level 1, 2, 3 separate from the click that was at the top of Jin. And now I was finally like even with them. I was the level 4 and that was the highest level. And wow, I'm so excited I got to level 4 when everybody is just getting to level 4, and it's so cool. And then I realized how many questions it was, and that's pretty much all it was just questioning and grilling. And I was like, what? I was pretty upset because it was just questions. But the thing is, the level 4 test will change you. Okay, really will. So if you can answer all of these questions without thinking, if you just know the answer, you are going to get the life of your dreams faster than you can ever think possible. This test really is it, okay? Yes, there's a level 5. Yes, there's a level 6 and all of that. But the level 4 test, that's where it's at, okay? You learn this, you got it made. Okay, well, with that, we're going to sign off.